the body chemical that decides if you succeed or quit. Most people think quitting is a mindset problem. They say you weren't disciplined enough, you didn't want it badly enough, you lacked grit. But that's not what actually decides whether you keep going or give up. Long before motivation disappears, long before excuses show up, your body has already made the call. And it all comes down to one chemical. Not motivation, not confidence, not talent. A chemical that quietly determines whether effort feels meaningful or unbearable. You've felt its effects before. That moment when progress feels exciting, when even hard work feels worth it, when you think, I can keep going, and the opposite. When everything feels heavy, when small setbacks feel personal, when quitting feels like relief. Same goal, same person, different chemistry. The chemical is dopamine, but not in the way social media talks about it. This isn't about cheap pleasure or instant gratification. Dopamine is the brain's progress signal. It answers one question: is this effort moving me forward? When dopamine is working properly, struggle feels purposeful. When it's broken, effort feels pointless. And here's the dangerous part. Most people don't quit because something is hard. They quit because their brain stops rewarding effort. Dopamine isn't released when you win. It's released when your brain believes you're on the right path. That belief keeps you going, but modern life quietly destroys it. Constant stimulation, endless comparison, instant feedback loops. Your brain gets flooded with dopamine from things that require no effort. So when real work shows up slow, boring, uncertain, the contrast is brutal. Your brain thinks, why am I doing this when easier rewards exist? That's when quitting starts to feel logical, not emotional, logical. This is why talented people give up, why smart people lose consistency, why motivated people burn out. Their dopamine system stops linking effort to reward. Now look at people who succeed long term. They're not constantly excited. They're not always inspired, but their brain still rewards progress. Small wins matter to them. Incremental improvement feels satisfying. They stay in the game because dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about expectation. When your brain expects progress, it releases dopamine. When it expects disappointment, it withholds it. That's why repeated failure without recovery kills motivation. Not because you're weak, but because your brain adapts. It stops betting on you. And when dopamine drops, three things happen. First, effort feels heavier. Same task. More resistance. Second, your tolerance for discomfort drops. You avoid challenges you could previously handle. Third, quitting feels calming. That's the most dangerous one. Your brain releases relief chemicals when you walk away. So quitting starts to feel good. And that trains the habit. This is why people quit at the same point every time. Same week, same difficulty, same emotional wall. It's not coincidence. It's conditioning. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people unknowingly sabotage their dopamine system. They celebrate outcomes instead of effort. They only feel good when they win. So when progress slows, dopamine disappears. High performers do the opposite. They attach dopamine to process. They reward showing up. They reward consistency. They reward improvement, not perfection. That's not mindset fluff. That's neurochemistry. Their brain learns. Effort itself is valuable, so they can tolerate longer timelines, more uncertainty, more delayed results. This is why they don't quit when things get boring, or quiet, or slow. Their dopamine system hasn't collapsed. And there's another layer most people miss. Stress kills dopamine. Chronic stress reduces dopamine sensitivity. So even when progress exists, you don't feel it. Everything feels dull, flat, unrewarding. That's why burned out people lose motivation for things they once loved. Not because they stopped caring, because their brain stopped registering reward. This is also why rest isn't laziness. It's dopamine maintenance. Without recovery, effort becomes invisible to the brain. And invisible effort doesn't last. So when people say, I just lost motivation, what they're really saying is, my dopamine system stopped reinforcing this path. So how do you stop dopamine from turning against you? You don't chase motivation. You retrain the reward system. Successful people don't wait to feel good after success. They teach their brain to feel good during effort. The first rule is simple, but most people get it wrong. Shrink the goal, not the ambition. The feedback loop. Your brain needs evidence of progress. Big goals are motivating at first. Then they starve dopamine. Too far away, too abstract. High performers break goals into units small enough that progress is undeniable. Not fake wins, real movement. That's why streaks work. Checklists work. Daily targets work. They aren't productivity tricks. They're dopamine anchors. The second rule is to remove cheap dopamine during pursuit. This part hurts. Scrolling, junk content, constant entertainment, they all spike dopamine with no effort. That raises the reward threshold. Real work can't compete. Successful people are ruthless here. Not forever, but during focus periods. They protect their dopamine sensitivity like an asset. Because once effort feels dull, quitting is close. The third rule is recovery without stimulation. Rest doesn't mean replacing work with more dopamine. It means letting the system reset. Walks, silence, sleep. This restores baseline dopamine. And suddenly effort feels meaningful again. Now let's talk about failure. Failure itself doesn't kill motivation. Unprocessed failure does. When setbacks happen without reflection or learning, dopamine drops. Your brain labels the path as risky. High performers process failure quickly. They extract lessons. They redefine progress. So the brain still sees value. That's why they can fail repeatedly without quitting. They've protected the chemical loop. There's also something subtle here. Identity matters. When effort aligns with identity, dopamine response increases. Not because of ego, because the brain rewards consistency with self-image. That's why saying, "I'm the kind of person who shows up" matters more than hype. Now here's the turning point. Quitting is rarely a conscious choice. It's a chemical one. When dopamine disappears, persistence collapses. When dopamine stays linked to effort, you stay in the game. That's the difference between people who start strong and people who finish. So if you've quit before, that doesn't mean you're broken. It means your reward system wasn't supported. Fix the system, and behavior follows. If this helped you understand why motivation disappears, subscribe for more deep dives into the science behind success, discipline, and long-term focus. Share this with someone who keeps starting over. And tell me in the comments, what's one goal you've quit before? And what small win could you reward today? Because success isn't about wanting it more. It's about teaching your brain that effort is worth it.